Hello, and good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day here at JNUC, and glad you could help attend our session here. This next session is called Flexibility Creates Value, Enterprise Mobility Across All Dimensions, Device Management regardless of OS, MDM, or ownership model. My name is Mark from Jamf, and I'm pleased to welcome two Jamf teammates from Japan joining us here today. Maari Koga and Yoshinori Inaba. Please give them a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today our theme is Flexibility Create Value. We will talk about enterprise mobility. In this session, we want to show that no matter if the mobile device runs on iOS or Android, no matter which MDM you use or which ownership model you choose, you can still achieve proper management and security. First, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Maari Koga from Jamf. I'm based in Japan, and I work as a sales engineer. I support our customers with mobile management and security project. By the way, my name is a little unusual in Japan. My parents were huge fans of Bob Marley, so they named me after him. So it's pronounced just like him, named Maari. And this is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Yoshinori Inaba. I also work as a sales engineer in Japan with Maari. By the way, I was also speaker at JNUC in 2023 in Austin. At that time, I was part of another company and was a Jamf customer. 2 years later, I'm excited to stand here again, this time as a member of Jamf. We are happy to be here today. Thank you. Today's goal is simple. First, we want to understand what mobile device management should look like in today's diverse environment. And second, we want to share some practical tips you can take back and use right away. Why should we focus on mobile device management now? Because in the last few years, IT environments, ways of working, and security threats have all changed a lot. Let's look at this background. The first change is the variety of OS. The second is the variety of ownership models. And the third is higher security demands. These are reasons for why now. And there is one more important point we cannot ignore. This is Security 360, Jamf's annual report on mobile security risks. In this report, you will see many kinds of threats and also how human behavior itself can become a risk. In short, it shows that we need broad comprehensive protection for the entire IT environment. From all these challenges, we can see the answer is actually simple. There are only two main areas to focus on: MDM and mobile security. This has been true for many years. It may not sound new, but it is still the key. So the real question is, how do we combine MDM and mobile security? Next, We will go deeper into each function. Now, let's talk about MDM. Today, MDM is not just about using one single function. The real value comes when we use many functions together in the right way. It is like a bicycle. Each part is important, but only when all parts work together can the bicycle move forward. So let's first look at why MDM has become more and more complex. There are several reasons. First, the variety of operating systems companies need to manage iOS, Android, and more. Second, the variety of ownership models. Now, we see COP, BYOD, and shared devices. And third, the balance between security and user experience. If we make security too strict, people lose speed and convenience. If we make it too loose, the risks grow. Finding the right balance is always a challenge. The first moment when IT admins feel this complexity is during enrollment. Enrollment looks simple, but it becomes complex. For iOS, control depends on ownership, company or personal, and on mode, supervised or unsupervised. For Android, there are even more options, such as free managed or work profile. So when you combine OS and ownership models, you end up with a huge number of patterns. But this is not only negative. It also gives us hints for choosing the right OS. iOS is simple, but limited in fine control. Android is more complex, but allows detailed choices for different needs. Of course, there is no single best practice for all companies. The right answer depends on your industry and environment. What matters is asking, what should we prioritize, and how much control should we apply? Some requirements are always needed, no matter which OS or model you use. Device must be updated with the latest OS and apps, and protected with passcode and auto-lock. If a device is lost, we need a remote wipe or lock. We must also control which apps can be installed and stop unsafe data sharing, like copy-paste or file transfer. These are the minimum MDM settings, without the risks are too high. Now, I will hand it over to Maari to show the examples.
As I said, there are always requirements that must have, even when the ownership model is different. BYOD, shared device, or Android. So how do we set these requirements in real MDM systems? I'll now show some examples, such as enrollment and configuration profiles. You will see how they look in different products and the small differences between them. For this, I'll use example from Jamf Pro, Ivanti, Intune, and Jamf Manager for Android. Each product has a different user interface and different ways of working. This is a Jamf Pro screen. I'm sure it's a familiar sight of all of you. In Jamf Pro, you can use prestige enrollment to set up what happens when you enroll a new device. For example, you can select different setup assistant options to control the user experience. Yeah. And once a device is enrollment in MDM, you can create and deploy a variety of configuration profiles. You will often create profile for things like certificates, password policy, Wi-Fi, and different restrictions. Now, let's take a look at the Ivanti screen. This is a Ivanti restrictions configuration screen. Instead of creating a separate configuration profile for each feature you want to restrict, you can create them all together here. What's unique about this screen is that the settings are organized by category, such as device functions and applications. The options are also divided into two sections, restrictions that can be used on all devices and restrictions that are only available for supervised devices. If we scroll down even further, you'll see new restrictions that have been able to being added with each iOS version, listed from the newest to the oldest. For instance, you'll find new feature from iOS 80.4, such as allow Apple Intelligence Report and allow Safari summarizations. Yeah. While it's very clear which restrictions are for supervised devices, a disadvantage is that there are not category buttons. This means you might have to scroll down a lot to find the specific restriction you are looking for. Yeah. Since Ivanti is a multi-OS MDM, the configuration page shows settings for all operating systems. You can see the OS icons displayed here, but you have to use the filters to specify the OS or OS version. Otherwise, it can be a bit challenging to find the right configurations. For example, can you see here that some configurations are only for Android and some are only for macOS. So next, let's take a look at Intune screen. As you can see, it's very simple compared to Jamf Pro and Ivanti. While it's simple and easy to understand, the main things to know is that it has fewer options and capabilities. The configuration screen is also very simple. Similar to Ivanti, Intune allows you can create configurations profile all at once. The settings are divided into different categories, and when you click on once, you can see the specific features you can restrict. However, it is not clear which restrictions were added with new iOS version or which features can only be using on supervised devices. Also, the name of the items are not very clear, so it can be difficult to find the specific restrictions you are looking for. So far, we've been looking at the iOS management screens. So now we'll switch gear and look at the Android management screens. I believe this is the first time we've shown the Android management screen of various MDMs here at JNAC. If that's the case, I'm very excited about it. This is an enrollment screen for Manager for Android. Here, after you select the enrollment mode for the Android device, you can set the restrictions and applications that you want to apply at the time of enrollment. The user interface is similar to Jamf Pro. So I think it will be very easy for all of you to get used to it. After you've finished all the settings, opening the enrollment page, opening the enrollment page will display a QR code. There are several ways to enroll an Android device into MDM, such as zero-touch enrollment and NFC. However, in Japan, using a QR code is very common. Also, as you can see on the left, you have the option to embed Wi-Fi information directly into the QR code. This is an excellent feature because it automatically connects the device to Wi-Fi. So what about Ivanti? This screen looks similar to Ivanti iOS screen we saw earlier. But before you get to this page, you must choose a mode like fully managed or personally owned work profile. While this allows for detailed settings, it can be confusing to know which one is the right choice. Also, for some reason, the new restrictions added with each Android version are displayed in ascending order. I have no idea why it's not consistent with the iOS screen. Now let's talk about Android enrollment with Ivanti. The QR code method is a little bit unique. You cannot create the enrollment QR code on the management console. So instead, you need to use a separate app called Ivanti Provisioner to create it. This means that an IT administrator needs to use another Android devices just to create this QR code. Not being able to complete the entire process within the management console and having to use another device can be a little inconvenient. Next, I'll show you the Intune's Android enrollment screen. At first glance, it's hard to tell the differences from the iOS enrollment screen, isn't it? While it is simple, I think it can be a bit confusing because you don't select the mode of the very beginning. And even after you've worked hard to create the enrollment setting, Intune presents another challenge. That is, you cannot embed Wi-Fi setting into the QR code. This is a very big problem for IT administrators in Japan. So what do IT administrators in Japan do about this? They have built a specific website just to embed Wi-Fi setting into the QR code created by Intune, referencing this GitHub repository. Many IT administrators say that while Intune, unlike Ivanti, can issue QR code from its management screen. It's a significant hassle to have to build a separate website because you cannot embed Wi-Fi setting directly. So far, we've looked at the differences in enrollment and configuration profiles for iOS and Android. For showing you the management screens of each MDM. But I'm sure you all know there are other big differences when managing iOS and Android, right? For example, for app deployment, you use Apple Business Manager or Passcode Manager for iOS. But for Android, you use managed Google Play. Yeah. Similar to app deployment, app config is also different, of course. For iOS, you can configure it using a plist in an XML format. And for Android, you can configure it in a bundle format, which is made of key value pairs. So far, we have reviewed the differences between operating systems, MDMs, and the variations in enrollment method and restrictions. As we have seen, enrollment and profile distributions are basic tasks. They are required in every MDM, but in real operations, these basics are not enough. In BYOD, we must balance privacy with company data. In shared device, the challenge is fast user switch and quick reset. And in Android, behavior can change by hardware vendor. So beyond the common basic, we also need special approaches for each model and device type. Let's look at these differences. Let's move on to the demo video now. This video will walk you through how we can prevent complete data from leaking. There are two key things I'd like to show you. First, how to restrict text pacing is an app managed by MDM. And second, how to block a user from uploading a PDF file to a personal cloud storage. So account-driven user enrollment is a BYOD method that allows iOS device users to simply sign in with a managed Apple account. The MDM automatically detects the corporate account and installs a management profile. With the method, the MDM manages only the specific managed account and its data, not the entire device. This helps you balance both user privacy and corporate security. And do you know how it's done on Android? On Android, a secure container or work profile is created specifically for work on the user's personal device. This allows the MDM to manage only the data and applications within that work profile, protecting personal privacy while ensuring the security of corporate data. Once it's set up, you will see personal and work tabs, and all the work applications will have a briefcase icon next to them. Now, it's compare the BYOD experience on the device that has been set up for Android versus one for iOS. On Android, you can have two versions of the same app. For example, you have two separate Chrome or Play Store apps, one with a briefcase icon for work, and one without for personal use. On the other hand, with iOS, you can only install one version of an app. So at first glance, it's not immediately clear which apps have been distributed as managed apps. So next, let's talk about shared device setting. This is also possible with each of these MDMs. You can see that there are options to set up device as a shared device during enrollment on all of these MDMs. Yeah.
Now, let's move to the second key part, mobile security. MDM is already standard, but smartphones are always online and exposed. Attackers target them heavily, so MDM alone is not enough. From here, I will show common risks and how Jamf can help. MDM is a strong tool. It is great for app distribution and policy settings, and it is a basic foundation of security. But real threats are more diverse, and they change in real time. The point is simple. Threats are everywhere in daily life. This is why MDM must be combined with extra layers of security. And this leads us to Jamf's mobile security strategies. Earlier, I mentioned Jamf's Security 360 report. It shows risks in 4 areas: users, devices, apps, and networks. And phishing, unpatched devices, risky apps, and unsafe networks are still major problems. The point is clear. Threats are everywhere, so security must go beyond MDM. That is why we built Jamf for Mobile, a suite that brings MDM, MTD, and ZTNA together. There are many products in the market, but a suite solution like Jamf for Mobile gives broader coverage, and that is why I recommend it. This chart is a simple way to compare Jamf for Mobile with other solutions. Some solutions are very strong in one area, but weak in others. That is normal, because most products focus on only one part. Jamf for Mobile is different. It may not be perfect in every single area, but it covers all of them. The value is having no blind spots, balanced protection across the board. Here we have a summary of what Jamf for Mobile can cover. As you can see, it includes all the key protections needed for both iOS and Android. This means that with one suite, you can complete all the main steps of mobile security. So what happens when you actually use Jamf for Mobile on iOS or Android? So I will hand it over to Maari to show the examples.
Thank you. So you can deploy the Jamf Trust app on both iOS and Android. There are almost no differences in the app icon or the security alert screens. On both iOS and Android, you can also use app config to enable it with zero touch. So how are devices with Jamf Trust installed protected from threats? On the left side, in Jamf Security Cloud, you can configure settings like threat severity and whether to automatically block threats. On the right side, on the user's device, the threats category, date, time, and descriptions will be displayed. Next, let's talk about content filtering. When an administrator sets up things like access blocks, schedules, or traffic interface, the user's device will show a block notification on their Jamf Trust app. The IT administrator can also see a record of the block in the Jamf Security Cloud reports. So Jamf Trust can also detect threats related to device routing as well as threats related to the OS version. This is especially important for Android, as device risk can increase if developer mode or USB debugging mode are left enabled. Jamf Trust can automatically warn the user about these risks. Finally, I'd like to talk about compliance policies. By setting up an access policy, you can block access from unmanaged devices or devices with a high security risk. This is a very important feature for improving mobile security, as it allows you not to restrict access to work resources for both corporate-owned and BYOD devices. So the video now playing is a demo of a web clip that has a policy configured so it cannot be accessed unless Jamf Trust is enabled. In this way, web access can be controlled by combining a managed device, an approved user, and the security risk posture of the device. As you can see in the image on the left, a device with the Jamf Trust app accesses SaaS applications as well as on-premise or private cloud infrastructure through Jamf Security Cloud. That way, security is always ensured. When we talk about zero-touch, SASE often comes up. It is powerful, but also complex and costly, and for mobile, it is often too much. Jamf ZTNA is different. It gives secure access, easy setup, and a mobile-first design. For most mobile needs, this is enough. Of course, if your company requires full zero-gap coverage, SASE may be needed, but as a first step, Jamf ZTNA is practical and strong to close key risks. So far, we saw how Jamf can cover zero trust and basic security. But even strong basics are not enough. A clear example is Pegasus. As you can see, it caused significant damage worldwide. The point is clear: basic security is not enough. We need next level threat detection to stop advanced spyware and zero-day attacks. Jamf gives strong basics with zero trust and mobile security. But spyware like Pegasus can still slip through. That is why we have Jamf's executive threat protection. It is higher layer that detects and analyzes advanced spyware. So as you can see, Jamf already cover mobile security in many ways, and with that. Let's move on to the summary.
All right, just 3 more slides, and then it's time for the Jamf Nation Party. And to summarize, MDM alone is not enough. And security alone is not enough either. Like a bicycle needs 2 wheels to move forward, we also need both MDM and mobile security. Together, they protect the organization and help it move ahead with confidence. There is no single perfect answer. This is why flexibility is the key, both for business and for security. There are many possible answers. What matters is how we choose and how we combine them. We must keep adapting with flexibility. And the good news is the systems to do this are already here. You can use any MDM you like, but when it comes to security, I strongly encourage you to build your mobile security with Jamf for Mobile or Jamf Protect. The important thing is move forward step by step with flexibility. First, understand the latest threats, then recognize your own risks. From there, combine MDM and security solutions flexibly to respond. You may use different MDMs or different operating systems, but the essential actions are the same, and once they are clear, you just need to follow through. Step by step, these efforts add up. And in the end, they create real impact and open new opportunities for value. Thank you for joining today. And finally, special thanks to our partner in Japan, SoftBrain Integration, for their great support in preparing this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Maari. Thank you, Yoshinori. We have some time for Q&A. If anyone has any questions, I can go around the room, bring the mic. And if not, that's fine too. Yes, I'll bring over the mic.
I can ask about the mic. What are the requirements for what are the requirements for Jamf Trust on mobile devices?
I don't think the mic needs Japan. Don't think the recording needs Japanese, does it?
There could be Japanese audience.
ジャンフトラストを使うときの必要要件を教えてください。
必要要件。
シンプルに言ってる。
必要要件。別に。Yeah. It's so today's produce all
英語でも、日本語でもいいよ。
すべての機能を使うためには IDP が必要ですって。今日紹介したすべての機能を使うには IDP が必要ですって。はい。
So for you to leverage all the capabilities that was presented today, you need to have IDP.
Okay.
Is that good enough? Or?
Yeah. Any other questions for now? Again, thank you all so much for attending this session. Maari, Yoshinori, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.